Hey everyone, it's Jenny at JC Cards, and today I have a video that was first featured over on the Wow Embossing YouTube channel. It was part of a video hop showcasing the very latest release from Wow Embossing. Today my video shows you the Toteally Amazing trio, and I'm going to be creating this shaker card. Here's a look at the trio itself. It features 3 powders. They are gilded, iced teal, and the real teal. Love the puns. And you'll see that that one's translucent, that's signified by the T. Gilded is opaque, and then this one is also opaque, and the M means it's a mix of powders with different, like a mixed blend. And the best thing about opaque powders is you can use them on darker coloured cardstock. So I've grabbed a panel of A2 black cardstock here, and I'm going to completely coat it in Wow Embossing ink and then gilded powder. Now gilded is kind of like, it's like a champagne-y kind of colour. It's like a mix of like pearly white, cream, maybe kind of off gold. It's quite hard to explain. It's really pretty. And I'm going to completely cover that A2 size panel and then heat it up with my heat tool. And then here's a quick look. It's quite a smooth powder. It doesn't have glitter in it. But I'm going to use this to die cut this ornate oval frame from Pinkfresh Studio. I'm going to be creating a shaker card today. And this frame is really elegant, really good to create my shaker window with. I die cut it once from my embossed panel and then twice more from a £110 Nina Solar White cardstock, which is good and sturdy. And then I'm going to add some liquid glue and then stack all of those pieces together and then put them under a heavy acrylic block just to make sure they dry flat. Now I'm not done with my embossing yet, so I'm going to grab another panel of cardstock. This one will be white cardstock. This is Wow Embossing's own cardstock. And I'm going to coat it completely again with embossing ink. And then this time I'm going to do both the iced teal, which is a translucent powder, so that's why I'm using white cardstock. But it has little flecks of glitter. It's really pretty blue colour. I'm going to coat that over half of the cardstock, making sure to catch any of the excess in my coffee filter and filter it back into the jar before then going to my second colour, which is the real teal, and coating that on the second half of the panel. And you don't get a perfect blend. I wasn't too careful to try and get it blending perfectly because I'm going to be die cutting this panel with quite an intricate cover plate, and that will hide any of that kind of harsh line in the middle. But look at that, you get that is such a pretty colour in the light. It's hard to see in the video, but the glitter really sparkles. It's really pretty. Now I'm going to use this stacked diamond cover plate. It's very detailed, so I hope you have a good die cutting machine, but it cuts through the embossing powdered panel perfectly. I'm just going to flip it around, add it over the top, run it through my die cutting machine, and I didn't even have to try too hard to pop out these pieces. It cut perfectly. The Wow Embossing white cardstock is not too thick, so I didn't have any problems. And then I'm just going to adhere it to another panel of black cardstock cut to 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 by using glue on the outer edges because it is so detailed. Now here's a look at my stacked oval ornate frame, and I'm going to add some acetate behind that. Now this is quite a tricky shape to cut the acetate for, so I just kind of roughly cut it to size with my giant fabric scissors and then sort of gradually trimmed it around. It doesn't have to be perfect, you just don't want any pieces peeping off the edge. And then I'm going to glue it to the back of the frame. And there were a couple of places where it did slightly overlap with those little holes around the frame, but you can't notice it. It's really basically impossible to see. And then I'm going to pop that under an acrylic block again, just to make sure that it dries completely. Now I'm going to, for my shaker bits, be using crystals. They're quite chunky, so I wanted to make sure that I get some good dimension between the frame and the back of the card, so that the pieces don't get stuck. So I'm using these thin foam strips. These are from Doris that you probably see me use and you probably have in your stash for using with thin sentiments on cards. And I'm going to do a double layer of those all the way around the back of that window. And then these are the
crystals I'm going to be using. They are from the Essentials collection by Pinkfresh Studio. And just a tip, put them in the center of your panel where you're going to be placing your window over the top. I initially put them into the back of the window and thought, you know what, this isn't going to work when I want to make sure that my window is lined up perfectly. So that's just a little tip. And then just give it a good shake and they move around perfectly. Now for my sentiment, I'm going to finish with this Never Lose Hope, which I think we could all do with right now. This is by Penguin Palace. It is a shadow sentiment. There's 2 pieces to it. I'm just using one. And I've die cut it from silver glitter cardstock. But you could create your own silver glitter cardstock with Wow's metallic sparkle embossing powder if you wanted to. And then I popped it up on some foam tape onto the front of that window.
And that finishes my card. I do hope you've enjoyed. Be sure to check out Wow Embossing's own YouTube channel where this video first appeared, and have a wonderful day.